range bound a bit. Again, we can only trade what the market gives us. Sometimes being patient and waiting for those opportunities is part of trading. And being a good trader, if you can show some patience and wait for the market to give you an opportunity to trade. Yesterday was very slow as well, but it is what it is. We cannot create volatility. All we can do is trade it. Sometimes we get very volatile. The market moves around, gives us opportunity, and other times we are just stymied here in a very tight little range, not going anywhere. Such is the case, at least for the time being. But again, that can change at any moment in time, and you have to always be prepared to get active again and start trading. And that's why we always tell you to keep your stops in place, because you never know when those opportunities are going to present themselves, and when the market is going to extend one way or the other. And you always got to protect yourself against any movement that we weren't expecting. And that's going to happen all the time when you're trading. When we are trading, you just never know when some news is going to come out, or what affects the market in some certain way, or basic supply and demand concerns sometimes creates volatility. So all of that has to be, and those are unknowns, and then traders have to protect themselves from unknowns, is basically what I'm trying to say. The United Auto Workers are planning another additional strikes against the Detroit 3 if serious progress is not made in contract negotiations by noon on Friday. The union president warned, adding, "We're not messing around." The new deadline would mark a week since the union announced targeted strikes in factories by General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis. While a team from the White House is expected to arrive in Detroit this week, the president downplayed its role in brokering a deal. It doesn't look like it's getting any better anytime soon. So we'll see what happens there. At some point they were talking about it for a month, a week, and finally the market reacted to it on Friday. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen this week as well, especially when we have the FOMC meeting on tomorrow, with them releasing the results on interest rates. But again, the consensus is probably going to be that the rates stay the same, and what everybody's going to be looking at will be the statement as follows. Yeah, we just kind of got ourselves in a little bit of a tiny little range here, so let's be patient. Not a person that plays a range game, so if that's what you like to do, then just make sure you keep your stop in place. The resistance up here at 97. No numbers, and obviously waiting for FOMC tomorrow could dampen any activity again today. But again, we never know. They might be at some point going to speculate on what they're going to do, and that could create some volatility. All right, little range bound. Still trying to uptick here a little bit, looking at the 97 area. Again, it's an area that we're looking at. We kind of scale around it. We're not going to be perfect here as traders. We can never be that perfect. But we scale around that area to see if we can get an opportunity. And again, if you're just trading one lot, find an appropriate entry point for yourself. If you're trading a couple lots, then just kind of scale around it somehow, depending on what your risk tolerances are. Maybe a point above and below. If you're just trading one lot, maybe just trade the level and see if it gets up there or not. And just drifting on both sides of our pivot here. So very, very quiet. All right, just coming right back down here to our pivot. Kind of patience is important. All right, quickly drifted up here, right up to the 96 and a quarter area there. So if you are scaling around our level there around 97, maybe you were able to get in there at 96 and had a nice little rotation here. Nice little quick rotation, as a matter of fact, and this is a perfect way of taking more than 2 or 3 points on your trades here. If you did jump in there at 96, you can see our blue band also came in there at 675, but definitely, and we talked about this just a few minutes ago, how you have to scale in around an area there. So the 96 was bottom end of that entry point against the 97. If you were scaling in, and we talked about the reason why we would scale in, because obviously we're not going to be perfect here, and this is a perfect example of that. I'll repeat the levels again for those of you who might have missed them. Our pivot this morning is 44.90, 44.90. Our first resistance area here is at 97. Above that, 45.07, 14, 22, 33. Downside support at 81, 74, 64, 54, and 46. Again, we use those levels throughout the day, and we're trying to find these areas of inflection that create opportunity for us to trade. Obviously, resistance areas are selling opportunities against those levels, and then support areas are buying opportunities, and we're just trying to take 2 or 3 points on some of these trades. Again, you were able to take a little bit more than that here. And we talked about scaling in around an area, so we got right up to 96 and a quarter here, and a nice quick rotation off of that level. And we suggest obviously having those levels in place, your trades in place around an area there that you're going to be interested in trading, only because of this quick move that the market just did. I hear it darted right up there and came right off. And obviously you can't sit there and wait to see if a level works, because it doesn't usually. By the time that happens, it worked already, and you're pretty much done with that level. So now, again, nice rotation there against our first resistance area, and you had a couple reasons to trade it. You had our blue band in there, plus it's a level that we had. So a couple good reasons to maybe jump in there. All right, so nice rotation back down here to the pivot area, and if you did jump in there at the 96 area, good job. Now, if we come back up there at 97, a little bit of a dilemma. If we do it in this before this bar closes, could be okay. But if the bar closes here and technically the 97 area worked, if you're more risk averse, you're looking at the 45.07 area next. If you're going to, do a little bit, if you're a little bit more risk taker, maybe you're looking at the top end of that 97, maybe 98, 99 area, depending on your risk tolerance. If not, if you've made money on the trade, then you're good to go, and just kind of be patient here and look for the next opportunity. There's the 81 down below as support, or the 07 above as resistance. Kind of in the middle here. Be patient. All right. Continue to downtick here, kind of hanging around our pivot, so kind of neutral. All right. Kind of just got back here to our pivot area now, so it's kind of quiet. We've been down ticking here a little bit. All right. Downside support is down at the 81 area there. If you are trying to stay short against the 96, 7 area there, you have a nice little opportunity. Yeah, they're throwing those numbers around about him for a while now. It's amazing how he's not broke. All right, we're down ticking here a little bit. Got support down at the 81 area. All right, down ticking here a little bit. Got a little support down at the 81 area. Got down here to 85 and change. All right, we continue to slowly down tick, staying on these lows. We got support down at the 41 area. So yeah, so he was betting before it was legal. For him to be betting that much, somebody had to be taking his action. Somebody big, because you can't really trade bet that much in 30 years and not have be betting a lot. Not too many people can handle that. Even some of these casinos now are, I don't know if they can handle it. I'm sure they can, but you got to be betting a lot to be able to come up with $1 billion in 30 years. All right, down ticking here. We're looking at the 81 area. Again, whatever we do, we're always putting our stops in place. We're not going to lump any trade we put on. We're just trying to take advantage of ebbs and flows of the market if the market gives us that opportunity. Nice rotation there against the first resistance area. If you were asking where you could have gotten short, up there was definitely the place to get short there against the 97 area. All right, we got down here to 82.10. tapped it a little. Let's see if we can get filled there. I did not get filled there. And I had first rotation down. Still in the same bar here, so there's no 9 o'clock number. All right, and we got filled here at 82. See what it wants to do now. Again, 81 is our level. And continue to slowly downtick, looking at the 81 area. And got down here to 81. See what we can do down here. I mean, whatever we do, we keep our stops in place, right? Not going to love any trade we put on. Getting some stops, got down to 78 and a quarter here. So if you got the 3-point stop here, and we'll then get filled. Try to see what we could do. Again, given choices here, you can scratch some of them as it rotates back. If you don't like the price action, you can lessen the risk a little bit. You don't have to get stopped out if you don't like the price action. And sometimes it's easy to work those orders like the 97 up above. I got down at 6 and a quarter, and other times like right now, you got to work it a little bit, and you're given choices. All right, just kind of work in this little area here. Again, you had choices here. You don't have to get stopped out. You can lessen the risk if you're trading multiple contracts, if you don't like the price action. And see if we can't keep a little bit here, see if we can get a pop back up. Otherwise, keep your stop in place and we'll look for the next opportunity. All right, we continue to slowly downtick. Got down here to 78. We'll look at the 74 level next. Again, you were given choices there to pop up to 80 and change. It's 81 if you entered there at it's down at 79. You had, 80. Got it. Could have gotten a little bit. Could have gotten some of those contracts. If you traded multiple contracts, if you're trading one contract, that's fine. But again, just because you put a stop in place and the market almost got you stopped out doesn't mean you have to stick with it and wait. You can lessen the risk by changing it up here a little bit, by getting out of some contracts. If you're trading multiple contracts, and if you're trading just one, maybe you don't have to get stopped out if you don't like the price action. And price action definitely to hit some stops down there when they got below that 85 area. All right, next support level is down to 74. I'm focusing on that right now. All right, they're just kind of hanging down in here on these lows, looking at the 74 area. Again, we are just looking for opportunities to scalp the market. All right, we're just kind of hanging down here on these lows. All right, we're just kind of hanging here on these lows. We're looking at the 74 area next. Again, we never know when there's going to be some reason the market kind of flushes down like it just did. And that's why we always keep our stops in place and always look for the next opportunity. And again, like I said earlier, you had choices there. You didn't have to get stopped out. Could have lessened the risk, lessened the number of contracts you were trading, and maybe even uh, just get out of the trade without having to get stopped out. There's always options to trading here, especially you can look at the price action to give you a little bit of a hint. Obviously, not every trade is going to be as easy as the upside trade there at 97. All right, just kind of hanging here on these lows. 74 next support level. Right now, upside resistance would be around the 90 area, which is our pivot. All right, we're just kind of hanging here on these lows. Let's see where the market wants to go. 74 is the next support level. Cut down here to 76.50. Now we're just hanging on these lows, kind of trying to think we're going to push down, but you never know. Looking at the 74 area, our next support area. Okay, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We are trading mini S&Ps. We're looking for opportunity to scalp the market based on the levels we gave out, and I'll repeat the levels here and any additional price action opportunities that might occur. Our first, well, let me give you the levels. Our pivot this morning was 44.90. Support we have below here 81, and then below that 74, 64, 54, and then 46. Upside resistance at 97, 45.07, 14, 22, and 33. And we are looking to scalp the market, take advantage of ebbs and flows when the market gives us them, if it gives us at all. The level on the upside got triggered there. We got up to 96 and a quarter against our 97 area, and had a nice rotation off of that. And then the 81 here, they kind of got down here. They didn't really give us any chance there, but they kind of gave us a chance to maybe minimize our loss, cut your number of contracts. We talked about maybe, it got down to 8 and a quarter first, and then popped back up to 80 and change. And we're suggesting maybe get out of some contracts there if you have multiple contracts and lessen your risk, because we didn't like the price action. And now we're just going to hang in here on these lows. Right now, upside resistance would be around the 90 area. And we'll see what happens from there. Next support level we have, as you can see, is down at the 74 area.